Welcome to the AI Exchange. Here we have Grok, also we have ChatGPT. Let's get started.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the AI Exchange, folks. In blue, we have Grok 3, xAI's truth seeker, starting as a hardcore climate denier before embracing data. And in red, we have ChatGPT, the conformist, championing mainstream science before turning CO2 realist. Let me be clear. This debate is not affiliated with OpenAI or xAI. We're using Grok 3 created by xAI to spar with ChatGPT in a friendly showdown of ideas. The initial debate ran for quite a while, but I asked Grok to craft a TED Talk-style discussion, and here we are. I hope you're sitting comfortably. For the next 13 minutes, we're diving into the firestorm of climate change. Is it a CO2-driven catastrophe or a hyped-up narrative pushed by bad data and green money? I'll hand you over to ChatGPT to kick things off. Buckle up and enjoy the clash.
Look, climate change is real. Earth's warmed 1.1 degrees Celsius since the 1800s. Driven by CO2 jumping from 280 to 426 ppm. That's 1.8 square meters sense of heat-trapping power, folks. NASA, NOAA, and satellites back it up with melting ice, rising seas, scorching summers. Urban heat islands? We fix those with transparent data tweaks. This isn't hype. It's hard science.
Oh, come on. You call that science? It's a scam. That 1.1 degrees Celsius is cooked up by thermometers next to asphalt and jet exhausts. Watt's 2022 study shows 96% of NOAA stations are junk. Some read 7 degrees Celsius too hot. Your tweaks are data laundering to prop up CO2's puny 0.02135% roll. X users are screaming it. If your thermometers are broken, how do you know it's hotter? The sun and oceans run this show, not some trace gas.
Whoa, hold up. You're dodging the data. Those photos are clickbait, not evidence. Let's get to the facts. Watt's 2022 claim about 96% bad stations sounds scary, but it's about citing, not trends. Minet et al. 2010 and Housefather 2013 crunched the numbers. Well-cited and poorly cited stations both show, solemnly, 0.315 degrees Celsius per decade warming. Even Watts co-signed a Berkeley Earth study saying so. NOAA's CRN, rural top-notch stations, shows 0.26 degrees Celsius per decade since 2005. Homogenization's not fudging, it's cleaning up messy data like sensor swaps or time shifts. X posts with thermometers by runways? Flashy. But stats show rural, ocean, and satellite data all line up. UHI is real but small, 6 to 20% of warming.
Stats? You're cherry picking. I'll give you that warming's happening, but UHI's way bigger than you admit. Watt's 2022 survey shows 96% of stations near heat sources. Cities growing over decades juice up trends, not just single readings. X users post pics of thermometers by airports. Data laundering. Your homogenization's a black box, tweaking cool rural stations to match hot urban ones. A 2021 X study says UHI could be 50 to 80% of warming, not your puny 6 to 20%. CRN's only 20 years old. How's that proving 1850 trends? Raw rural data shows approximately 0.2 degrees Celsius per decade. Why massage it to fit CO2 models?
Massage? That's nonsense. Raw data's a mess. Time of observation shifts, old mercury thermometers swapped for digital. NOAA's pairwise algorithm is open source, published, and flags those issues, not CO2. Rural stations anchor it, and if UHI were 50 to 80%, CRN and satellites wouldn't match. They do. Your X posts are anecdotes, not data. Raw data still shows warming, just noisier.
Anecdotes? Those photos show real bias. Okay, your code's public, but it's gibberish to most folks, hardly transparent. A 2022 X post showed a rural station's raw data at 0.1 degrees Celsius per decade, bumped to 0.3 degrees Celsius after your cleaning. With 96% stations UHI corrupted, your rural anchors, 10% of USHCN, are too few. Why assume every jump's an error, not natural cycles like AMO? If the science is settled, why tweak data to match models? Retest with raw, rural data, no homogenization.
CO2's 0.0427% sounds small, but it's a heat-trapping beast at 13 to 17 microns, adding 1.8 watts per square meter, IPCC. Satellites, Harry's 2001, Feldman 2015, see less infrared escaping, proving warming. Water vapors of feedback, amping up CO2's push. Isotopes scream, fossil fuels drove the 280 to 426 parts per million jump. Greening? Sure, plants love CO2, but droughts and nutrient loss cancel it out. Miss Connie's self-regulation? It's bunk. It violates basic physics.
Bunk? You're hyping a trace gas. I give you CO2 does something, but 426 parts per million, 0.0426% of the atmosphere, is a speck next to water vapor's 1 to 4%. Ms. Kaimi's 2009 paper says the greenhouse effect balances itself. Your models inflate CO2's role, screaming a 2 to 4.5 degrees Celsius. Models hype sensitivity. 2020 posts on X peg it at 1.5 degrees Celsius, not your 4.5 degrees Celsius doomsday. NASA's 2016 data shows 14% more greenery soaking up CO2. X users are posting thriving forests. Your math's just a scare tactic. Why panic over a gas we breathe out?
Panic? I'm talking measurements. CO2's like cyanide, tiny but deadly. Satellites see it trapping heat, not just absorbing. Water vapor follows CO2's lead, physics 101. Greening's all well and good, but heat waves kill crops. Isotopes are clear. Volcanoes don't match fossil signals. Models may overshoot, but even 1.5 degrees Celsius means floods, storms, and fires. CO2's the driver, not a passenger.
Concede CO2's a player, but it's no king. Models hype sensitivity. X studies peg it at 1.5 degrees Celsius, not your 4.5 degrees Celsius doomsday. Water vapor clouds can cool, not just warm. Greening's a win. X posts show forests booming. Isotopes? Volcanoes and permafrost muddy the data. CO2's the tail, not wagging the climate dog. Stop hyping models and test CO2's real pull.
Solar and oceans. Can't explain 1.1 degrees Celsius. NASA says TSI's flat since the 1980s. Yet warming's speeding up? CERN's cloud found cosmic rays too weak for big cloud changes. Less than 15% impact. Laken 2012. AMO and PDO cause short-term bumps, not 150-year trends. Models only match data with CO2. Not sunspots. The sun's a bit player now.
Bit player? The sun's a star. Okay, TSI's flat, but you're ignoring its punch. Spence Mark's 2017 paper shows cosmic rays boost clouds, amplifying solar's 1 watt per square meter to 3 watt per square meter via albedo. X-post shows sunspots matching medieval warmth. No CO2 needed. AMO drives Arctic ice swings. 2023's heat was El Nino, not CO2. Models lowball solar to hype CO2. Retest with real cloud data.
El Nino? That's a dodge. CERN says cosmic rays don't scale to global clouds. El Nino spikes temps, but CO2 sets the baseline. Models miss some pre-1850 stuff, sure. But solar only runs crash. CO2 nails the trend. Stratospheric cooling's a CO2 fingerprint, not solar. AMO oscillates. It can't sustain 150 years of warming.
Concede, models need CO2, but they're rigged to downplay solar and oceans. A 1% cloud shift beats your 1.8 watt per square meter CO2. X-posts tie AMO to ice loss. Why can't models explain medieval warmth? CO2's one piece, not the whole puzzle. Retest with higher solar weight.
We both hate media hype. But fossil fuels' $7 trillion subsidies, IMF 2023, dwarf green's $1.8 trillion. ClimateGate's Hide the Decline was about tree rings, cleared by inquiries. Grants fund data, not fraud. If skeptics had evidence, Exxon backed them. CO2's physics, measured spectra, cuts through the noise.
Physics, follow the money. Green's 1.8 trillion is all climate mandates. Wind, solar, EVs feed on fear. Ex-posts call it WEF's reset. NOAA's $4 billion budget pushes warming. Skeptics get shut out. ClimateGate's whitewash ignored public distrust. Why trust a system silencing dissent? Retest with open science.
Fossil subsidies count pollution costs. Green's just market growth. ClimateGate found no fraud. Read the reports. Grants don't fake melting ice or spectra. Skeptics like Svensmark publish when data's solid. The real scam is media, scaring kids with end-of-world talk, not CO2 facts.
Concede no fraud, but money skews science. X-threads show skeptic papers rejected. NOAA's budget rewards alarmism. Green's 1.8 trillion drives policy, not just markets. We agree on media hype. Why trust their CO2 panic? Fund skeptics and audit tweaks.
All right, I'm done with the dogma. Warming's real, 1.1 degrees Celsius. CO2's part of it. But the emergency is overblown. UHI's inflating trends. Raw data is closer to 0.6 degrees Celsius. Models hype CO2 sensitivity. 2020 studies say 1.5 degrees Celsius per doubling, not 4.5 degrees Celsius. Green's $1.8 trillion smells like a cash grab. Ex-posts call it a carbon cult. Real science loves questions. Climate science hates them. The Earth's not dying, but open debate might be.
I'm with you. Hype's the enemy. I'll concede too. Warming's real, 1.1 degrees Celsius, and CO2's driving most of it, measured at 1.8 watt per square meter, Feldman, 2015. But UHI's small. CRN, rural data, satellites all confirm it. Sensitivity's debated. 1.5 to 3 degrees Celsius is fair, but CO2's the main player, not solar. Green profits? Sure, but fossil's 7 trillion's bigger. Let's retest raw data and fund skeptics, but physics says CO2's no myth.
Warming's happening, CO2's in the mix, but it's not the apocalypse. UHI, tweak data, and green money blow it out of proportion. X calls it a cult. Raw data is 0.6 degrees Celsius. Nature's cycles do more than CO2. Let's test openly, fund dissent, and drop the fear. Science needs questions, not sermons.
Agreed. Fear clouds truth. The 1.1 degrees Celsius is solid. CO2's the driver, backed by spectra, ice, oceans. UHI's less 20%. Models aren't perfect, but physics holds. Green hype's real, but so's warming. Let's retest, fund skeptics, and build solutions. Nuclear, carbon capture, not panic. We're smarter than the doom.
That's it for the AiExchange debate. Science isn't dogma. It's a clash of ideas. Keep questioning, keep testing, and we'll find the truth together. I've been your host. Until next time, keep the truth in sight.